For day 15, so the example 1, you want to factor out a monomial. The word completely in the directions means that you are definitely looking for a GCF. So in every one of these problems, A, B, C, and D, you need to find a GCF first. So for letter A, I look to see, okay, what number goes into 18, 33, and 12 evenly? And that has to be 3. So this 3 right here, we're going to do two things. We're going to put it outside of our parentheses and then divide by the 3. And we're also going to make sure that 3 is in our final answer box. Okay? It has to be in both places. So now let's go ahead and divide that 3 out. So we would have 6x squared, negative 11x, and 4. So now when I look at just this part here inside of the parentheses, I want to decide, like, is that going to be regular x factor or is that going to be bottoms up? And it's going to be bottoms up because this number in front of x squared is bigger than 1. I no longer care about this number. Okay, I already put it in my answer box. I'm pretty much done with it now. So, because this is bigger than 1, we're doing bottoms up. So, to do our x, we do 6 times 4 to get 24. And we're trying to get to a negative 11. The factors of 24 are listed here. So which one could get to negative 11? It has to be 3 and 8. And they both have to be negative, because a negative times a negative makes a positive 24. If I add 2 negatives, I get a negative 11. So now I need to write this in factored form. X minus 3 and x minus 8. But I go back to that first number in front of x squared, 6. And I've got to divide by it. But can I? Can I take 3 divided by 6 and get a whole number? The answer is no. So can I reduce it? Yes. So I divide both the top and the bottom by 3. It's a division. And I would get x minus 1/2. Then for this one, I go, okay, 8 divided by 6. That would give me a decimal. Can it reduce? Yes. And we can divide 8 and 6 by 2. So if I reduce that fraction, I get 4/3. But now we need to bring the bottom number up. Again, bring the bottom number up. Okay, so now if you were to do the Punnett square, or the 2 by 2 square here for this, and then get that answer, and then distribute it with a 3, you would get back to the original answer. Okay, part B. Directions say factor completely. Completely means find a GCF here. And so what number goes into 12, 46, and 8? 2 does. So we want to factor that 2 out by dividing it. Make sure it's in our answer as well. So if we divide, we get 6x squared minus 23x minus 4. Okay, so now 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. We're trying to get to negative 23. And I already found the factors of 24 in the first problem, so we're just going to use this list here. So which one of these can get to negative 23? 1 and 24. But 24 has to be negative because this side has to match signs, and 1 minus 24 is negative 23. So let's go ahead and write it in factored form. We're going to divide by that first number in front of x squared. And we see, okay, can we divide evenly? No, we can't reduce. So we bring the bottom up. Here I divide and I get 3. And again, if I were to factor, or if I were going to multiply these two sets of parentheses using that 2 by 2 square, and then multiplying that by 2, I would get back to the original answer. Okay. Letter C and D, both of these you're looking for that GCF since it says factor completely. So a 6 can go into both of those. So if I divide, we get 4x squared minus 1. So I'm going to set up two sets of parentheses. The square root of 4x squared is 2x. The square root of 1 is 1. But you also have this negative to consider. So a 1 minus 1, 1 times negative 1, gets back to negative 1. Okay, in part D, what goes into 27 and 12? 3 does. So if I divide, I get 9x squared minus 4. So the square root of 9x squared is 3x, and the square root of 4 is 2. And I would need a plus and a minus.